Exploring the impact of intentional RA conversations, as presented by the University of Colorado, Boulder, at the Akuhoi Conference, Providence, Rhode Island, 2017. The initial reasoning behind the introduction of intentional conversations at the University of Colorado was that they didn't want to overlap with what other services were already doing within the student experience. They didn't want RAs misinforming residents about different services. They wanted to help residents to feel cared for and connected. They wanted a student-driven approach, which was proactive. They also were working off resident feedback, which told them that residents wanted to know that they could go to the RAs when they needed them, but that they didn't need to hang out with them daily. Intentional conversations for the University of Colorado were based on 6 themes: goal setting, transitions, interpersonal relationships, goal review, connecting to the university, experience across difference. Each period, which would be a number of weeks, the RAs were required to choose one theme and focus on that for their intentional conversations with each of their residents. For example, connecting to the university. So in that period, the RA would make the point of connecting with each of their residents and having a discussion about what they're doing to get more connected to the university, whether that be by means of their course and how they're engaging in that, or whether they're joining clubs or other societies. As this was a new initiative, the management team at Colorado decided that in order for the RAs to understand how intentional conversations worked, they would need to role model that themselves. So they did this through motivational interviewing, supervision, and questioning. So was that really a one-to-one, or was it just a random conversation that you had with Sarah when you bumped into her in the hallway? Really unravelling what was going on and how those RAs were experiencing those conversations. They were also seeking resident feedback and their experience of the conversations and how connected they were feeling to their RAs because of those conversations. So now for an example of an intentional conversation on move-in day. And so the theme of this is, who are you and what do you do? Keeping in mind that as a resident arrives on campus, it's very overwhelming. There are lots of other people around. There are all these people in red shirts, as well as other people who probably look official or like they know what they're doing. And the real question on people's minds is, who are you and what do you do? Here we can see the new student arriving with his mother on the first day of move-in. There are 2 RAs in his view, along with probably some others over to the sides and other students who are arriving. So the first question that might be going through his mind is, who are all these people? And who are these ones in red shirts in particular? So this RA over here is going to intentionally approach this young man and try and answer some of those questions. So introduce who he is and what he does as an RA. Now that the student has met one of his RAs from his own hall and is being shown where his room is, he also notices other students around, like this girl here, and he's wondering who's that and what's she doing. And so this RA is going to take notice of that and intentionally make the effort to connect these 2 new students by introducing this new resident to this new resident, and telling one another, because she's made the effort to find out about what each of them are studying and where they're from, she's going to introduce them to each other and share that information. The new resident has now been shown through his new hall by the RA. The RA is now going to take them out of the hall and see what else is going on. And she's seen one of the management team, and so is going to make a point of introducing the manager to this new family, because of course she has a parent with her, and the parents are always interested in knowing who's in charge and who's part of overseeing what's happening in the hall. Because the manager is also mindful of having intentional conversations at this time as he meets new residents and their parents, he's going to make the point of not only introducing himself and what he does, but also inviting the parent along to the parents' information session, which will be taking place in half an hour or so over at the centre. And now finally, because the RA has spent the time on move-in day to connect with that resident, She's now going to do a follow-up in a few weeks' time and find out how he's connecting with the university, with other people in the hall, or with any clubs or societies on campus. And that's going to be made so much easier because she's already made the effort from the beginning to get to know him and have those intentional conversations from the get-go.